Hello everyone and welcome to Trader Precision's free newsletter. I'm about to show you a 10-minute video Nick has just released for our paid subscribers. The reason I want to also show you on our free subscriber list is it will give you an idea, an example of what the sort of content you will receive if you register for our free webinar that is occurring on Tuesday. What Nick's going to do on Tuesday is going to do an hour-long market update and scan of the live market. So it's going to be as if you're sitting in the room with Nick, looking over his shoulder as he does his daily scan, going through all the charts he looks at trading, and hopefully, if there's setups occurring, putting on live trades right in front of you. These events in the past have been extremely popular, so I recommend that you sign up straight away. For those who can't sign up, for those who can't attend live, still go onto the page. The page link will be below this video and register for the recording. The recording will be up as soon as we possibly can get it out after the live market update. So I'll pass you over to Nick and he'll show you what he's looking at trading for today.
Hi everyone, literally just turned on my charts for the day and looking at my Aussie Swiss trade, which has hit 2 to 1 for me and I'm now out, but tempted to re-enter. So this was the original entry back here, got long, hit 1 to 1, now hit 2 to 1 up here. I'm out of the trade. And this is the first chart I've looked at, by the way. I haven't done a scan, so I'll go and scan through some other stuff now on this video. But just saw, hey, potential 60-minute PLT, potential re-entry, and I also looked at the 15, just saw, hey, we're pulling back just below this pivot, and now just breaking up above it, so a bit of protection from the daily pivot. So that's all quite good, but let me tell you why I'm leaving it. So firstly, 60 does look good, making higher highs, converging now on the recent highs, that all looks good. Coming to the 120 though, not so good because it's just not quite in the buy zone. Now, even just then as the new candle started, notice how they indicate, so the average just moved up just a fraction more, so it looks like a little bit better. But for me, I want 2 in the buy zone. That's just not quite there. It's also still, that bit divergent. Doesn't matter, I took the original trade, but it's that bit divergent now. We hadn't broken to these highs when I took the original trade. And coming up, we're just still a bit flat and diverging, and actually though, it's just starting to get this little bit of rejection candles like this one here, just breaking up. Still just not really major divergence, but not converging, and certainly diverging on some lower time frames. We've got this rejection, not quite a majorly bearish rejection candle, but there's just too many little things not quite good enough about it now. So I'm quite happy to have got in, got the 2 to 1, and be out of the trade. So that's why I'm not taking Aussie Swiss. Let's go and just have I'm just going to just skim through a few of the major markets. We'll start with the Russell and the Dow. We'll have a look at maybe gold and silver and euro dollar. We'll just flick through a few things. So Russell had another little sell-off there. Yeah, not much going on really. I mean, I was a little bit surprised to have seen it make lower highs and lower lows again. But nothing much to say right now. It's coming down towards 760, maybe a bit of support down there, but nothing really happening on the Russell. For the gap traders though, beautiful gap close overnight. Gap has been just working really well again this last month or so. So seems to be getting back into its rhythm after a big sideways period. So gap traders, keep an eye on the Russell gaps, but nothing much otherwise going on there. Let's have a look at the Dow and just see if this looks any different. Certainly a big sell-off there. And what do we got on higher time frames? I mean, a little bit of a pullback into the averages now, but there's probably, I mean, because the 120 is still quite overextended, very unlikely to be a trading opportunity. 244.80. Swing time frames, yeah, I mean, we're still uptrending here. So the Russell sold off a lot heavier, but we've made high highs. We're just pulling back into the averages now. So I'll be inclined to be looking for daily PLTs long on the Dow, but at the moment there's just no trade there at this moment in time as I scan the markets. Looking at gold, yeah, again we've got this downtrend here, but it's just gets scrappy as we get up to higher time frames. Look at this daily chart, and there's just nothing, no real action there to be seen on gold. So let's move down. We've looked at Aussie Swiss. Let's have a look at these other Aussie crosses, because as per my video this week, and as per a couple of trades already this week, this is where the action has been. Aussie CAD was never the best chart and continues to not be the best chart. So as soon as I just scan those few low time frames, I just see really scrappy and messy. No trade for me Aussie CAD. We've looked at Aussie Swiss, so we'll have a look at Aussie Yen. See if this is looking any different. And no, it's not. It's gone into a range. It's got resistance over here that's just rejected those highs. and not looking bullish at all, and never really was anyway. Aussie yen was never the strongest one. Aussie dollar was one of the better ones, so let's have a look at that. And certainly, I mean, see what's happened here. We've just come up, we tried to break new highs, we've rejected. So really picked the best one with Aussie Swiss, because Aussie Swiss is the one that's continued, and these other ones haven't. So no action at all on Aussie Swiss. So things aren't looking too pretty across those pairs. Let's have a look at Euro Aussie. See how this is looking. And I don't know what happened. I think Craig had a trade last night. I was actually out, so I was out at an event, so I don't know exactly what happened with this trade, but it looks like there was an expansion there. It looks like it worked beautifully, maybe with a spike, so I don't know the whole situation around that. I was away from my screen, but it looks like it was a beautiful expansion, potentially. It might have even got to 1-to-1, depending on where the stop was before, maybe getting stopped on that spike. I'm not sure, but I'm sure Craig will update on that later. But actually, as it stands right now, Euro Aussie very much like Aussie Swiss. It's there, potential 60, 120 PLT, but 120 not quite in the sell zone, so I'm not loving it, and still a bit divergent on those high time frames now. So just liked it yesterday, liked it the day before, not liking it as much today. Potential maybe a little bit better if it pulled back here all the way back into these pivots. Cluster of weekly 50%, these old highs, old lows just above it. That might be a better opportunity because it would have had a much bigger pullback, played out some more of the divergence. I'd have to really assess it if that happened. I still think I'd probably leave it, just looking at this 240 and 480. Just think it's starting to get a little bit too divergent now, and just looking a little bit, too much like it's due a pullback. So just to remember, there's a bunch of little things, 2, 3, 4 little things against it is really starting to look like, hey, this is not good enough. So especially if, I mean, it's not just divergence now, it's starting to be some scrappier looking charts as well when we get up to these higher time frames, and the trend not looking as clean as it was, and Euro News having just given us a few spikes on candles. Daily just looking at a little bit more divergent now as we're pushing down and still making higher lows. So just a bunch of things kind of heading out to be not quite strong enough. What else should we have a look at here? Let's just skim through a few more. We're going to have a look at Euro GBP. Might as well have a look at most of these Euro crosses. So we'll look at Euro GBP, Euro Yen, Euro Dollar. See what's going on here. So nothing on the 15-minute chart on Euro Yen. Sorry, Euro Pound. So there's just no real action for me there on Euro Yen. Let's come on. So Euro Pound. Let's have a look at Euro Yen as well. That's a nicer price action now on that little pullback. I mean, I quite often like that. I'm a little bit late here, obviously doing my scan, but I quite like these little PFX type trades, just little move down, little pullback into the 50%, obviously looking for the move off it. When I say I'm a little bit late, if I was to trade this, I would have traded it back here. Would have traded it there. Obviously I wasn't on my screen then. And it wouldn't have been working out the best now, but you can see it holding that level. 60 actually looks quite good. 120 is converging. Yeah, it's not the best pair. Oh, it's actually not terrible either. Yeah, this wouldn't be a bad trade, to be honest. I mean, it's late now, so I wouldn't take it. I'm just wondering if I would take a 60-minute entry potentially when that candle's just started. If we got a nice small bearish candle there, let's just consider this, right? That candle's only been going for 6 minutes, so if we got a nice small bearish candle, say closing no lower than about 95.18 or something, so just little red candle there in the sell zone. Indicators are converging nicely. 120, well, they're just broken down through this range, converging. I was starting to think I didn't like it, but actually it's because I just saw the scrappiness. But actually, when you just kind of put this into some perspective, it's downtrending. It's just made lower highs. It's just made lower lows. It's just pulling back in and looking like to continue down to these lower lows here. So then the question is, what do these lows look like on higher time frames? And they look like they should be broken. We look like we should be breaking down through here. We're in the sell zone. We've had bearish candles. We've broken down through those. We're moving down. The weekly chart looks bearish. The monthly chart's got a bearish candle. If we can break down through the low of the month, it looks very bearish. So in fact, you know what? I mean, this is a very early heads up, and it may not even happen because there's an hour until this candle closes, and already it's turned green. But if we had a small bearish candle there on Euro Yen, then I'll place an order on that. So all I'll do now is I'll set an alert, and I will go and watch. So this is London time, remember? So 10:07 London time. But what I'll do is I'll go and watch. Set my alarm for 11 p.m. London time. And I'll go and have a look and see how that candle looks, and if I get a nice small bearish candle, there's a very good chance I'll trade that, simply because it's backed up by the pivot. So it's kind of like a 15-minute PFX combined with a 60-minute PLT combined with a daily almost mid PLT trade. So lots going on there. heads up there in Euro Yen. That's the kind of trade I'll be looking for. So there's a bit of a scan, a bit of a look at the markets. In fact, let's just quickly look at Treasuries, because Treasuries was right at support yesterday, but not looking so good. Remember, I did a video a couple of weeks back probably on watching out for the pullback to the support, and yeah, so see how we've done it, right? So we've pulled back into support. So we pulled back here, but I didn't like it because the candle was too big. So here was our support through here. Pulled back in, candle was too big, wasn't so keen on it. Now we've again just got a big candle. But at a glance there, just looking at the weekly, potential for a weekly PLT next week. So the question is, has it broken this high significantly enough? Possibly not. Well, probably. Let's just zoom out here. Has made higher highs. It's done similar things before. See, what I don't like about having broken that high, I don't like it that it broke that high and didn't actually hold the high, that it broke the high and rejected the high. If not for that, then I'd probably be looking at it for PLT next week off the weekly chart, but simply because it rejected that high, I'm going to leave the PLT. That is enough from me. I'll go and do a more full scan of the markets. If I find anything else worth talking about, I'll update you guys again a little bit later. Happy trading all. Have a great day. Speak soon.